Hi, and welcome to a Mystic Dude Diablo 4 video. So in this video, in the aftermath of yesterday's patch 1.1, we're just going to have a look at a couple of pieces of news that have come up. The ones we're looking at are both on ICY Veins. One of them I'm just going to bring to your attention. We're not going to really discuss it. It's just something there for you to have a look at in your own time, make your own decisions. I'm not going to comment on it. It is what it is. And so the first one is the seasonal journey objectives. They're now up and about, people can read them, and as you can see, it gives you the chapters, it explains what they are. If you've played Diablo 3, you'll sort of understand how they work. You've got to complete so many objectives out of each chapter. So there for chapter 1, got to complete 7 of 9. And most of them initially are pretty straightforward. I say we're not going to go through everything. We'll just go down to chapter 7. There's 7 chapters. So as you can see on this one, you've got to earn 6 of 8. So reach level 100. Yeah, good luck with that. Uh, kill the Echo of Lilith in Archives in Torment. Heads of the Snake, kill 5 commanders. These are not too bad. Complete a 43 Nightmare dungeon. Yeah, depending on your level and where you are, that shouldn't be too bad. Purify 10,000 seeds of hatred. Come on, ICY Veins, spell check your stuff. 10,000 seeds, that's not a lot. You can do that. It doesn't take long. I've just recently farmed 100,000 for the Bloodsteed, and it only took me a couple of hours to do 100,000. So yeah. Kill 15 world bosses in Torment. That's time gated. So the problem we've got over here in EU is that uh, when the bosses spawn, we don't really have a boss in the evening. You get one round about 5, 6 o'clock. You might still be on your way home from work or working, and then you get one round about between 12 and 1 o'clock. 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, which might be too late for you. So, uh, so some people will find that easier to do than others. The actual killing of the world bosses isn't a problem. It's in the target, but you know, I suppose you could say, well, you've got 3 months to do it, so that's 5 a month, 1 a week. They'll say, just over 1 a week, so they'll probably say, well, you can surely make that time window. So yeah, doable. Open free torture gifts of mysteries during L-tides. Again, all this is stuff to force you to do content rather than force you to do objectives within the content that you might be doing. So uh, it's like, yeah, you've got to level 200. You've got to go and do Hell Tides. You've got to go and do Nightmare Dungeons. You've got to go and do PvP. So some will find this more appealing than others. 6 of 8, I don't really see a problem personally for that. Although the one that kicks there is that first one, reach level 100. Yeah, I know all the supporters are going to go, yeah, but you've got 3 months to get to 100. Yeah, well, it shouldn't have to take 3 months to get to 100. I'd like to get to 100 a lot quicker than that. I'm not going to put a time scale on it. A lot quicker than that, so that I then have time to experience the end game at 100. So, badly balanced game, bad patch. I'm not going to go into it too much. The XP's been nerfed drastically for this, so that's going to be, I don't know how difficult that is going to be. They might alter it yet. They've got another cozy campfire chat this week. So yeah, so anyway, have a look at these chapters. Some of them you'll think, oh yeah, that's easy, that's a walk in the park. Some of them you might think, oh no, I'm going to struggle for that. Some of them you might want to do. Some of them you might not want to go near. You know, so personally, I don't see most of these being a problem. The only other issue I would take with it, other than the reach the level 100, is the ones where it's forcing me to go through the storyline again on some of it. I forgot where it was. Maybe I misread it. I don't know. I'm sure I read something where it was forcing me to do side quests and stuff like that. But it's I'll probably work around it. Like I say, you don't have to do every challenge on each chapter, so it's just a case of cherry picking the ones that you want to do and the ones that you don't want to do. That is, if you're going to do them at all. Uh, I'm personally probably going to give it a miss due to the patch yesterday. It's just not worth playing, me personally. But if you are playing it, I think you'll find that yeah, after these 7 chapters, you'll probably find enough that you want to do that'll get you through it. And like I said, the only one that I can see people having problems with is maybe that level 100. So with that, let's get on to the next piece. So with this piece, as you can see, ICY Veins again. I'll drop a link below so you can read them yourself. They're not long pieces. They don't take too long to read. So this one was dropped after the patch yesterday, uh, purely because it contains some information on an undocumented change. So there was a lot of backlash on the patch, and one of the points that people were making was regarding the nerfs to XP and how long it would take you to level. On top of that, they gated the leveling or capped the leveling, not gated. They capped the leveling XP if you was playing with friends. So the game that launched with all the rhetoric, yes, it's a level playing field. Come and play with your friends and all that lot is an absolute joke. They've just gone back on it. It's yeah, it's not a very social game to play, to be honest. The clans seem pointless. The chat is hardly ever used. Uh, Even in the PvP areas, I don't see people trolling anybody on chat. So and now, where previously, if I did a level 100, if I was on my level 100 character and I brought you into a level 50 nightmare dungeon and gave you gears, well, now they're all capped at 80 and 60. So previously they would have been capped at level 100. I get that, but I could have dropped down to get you, you know, other gears. But the XP is now capped. So previously, if I brought you into that dungeon, you might not have been able to use the gears because they're all capped, but you would have been able to stand at the door, get the XP uh, that was relevant to that content, to that dungeon. Now they've capped it so it's only 10 levels above you. So if I take you into, basically, if I took your level 20 character into a level 100 uh, dungeon with level 100 enemies, you would only get XP equivalent to a level 30. Yeah, so it's capped 10 levels above you. So they've nerfed that. So it makes boosting, playing with friends, speed leveling, lots of issues like that. It's just bogged everybody down, and that's the whole point of this patch. It's just to slow everything down in the game, slow the players down, slow the play style. Oh, it's just a nightmare. But go and read it, find it. It's too much to go into. So this is an addendum, additional, that wasn't uh, put in the notes as far as I can see. So what we're finding, according to ICY Veins, is that uh, they can't players can't move between world tiers 3 and 4 after completing the capstone. So basically, what we had before was there's four world tiers, one, two, three, four, and then there's capstone dungeons, and the capstone dungeons are like a it's a bit like, look, I'm ready to move on, kind of a trial. You complete that, and then you move on to the next higher difficulty. So at world tier three, you complete a capstone dungeon, and yes, you've done it. You now move up, and you can put the game onto world tier four, and that opens up new gears, ancestrals, whereas previously on World Tier 4 you was on sacreds. And that gives you a bit of power progression feeling because you now can upgrade them one extra time. Now what's being reported according to this article is that even if you complete the capstone dungeon, you cannot move up to the world tiers because they've put a level cap on them. And as it says here, apparently these come in at level 50 for the world tier 2, to World Tier 3 transition, and level 70 to World Tier 3 to World Tier 4. So in the original game, in the Eternal Realm, uh, original game, yeah, we should call it original game because it's not the same game now. Uh, I I did my capstone dungeon at level 65 to move to World Tier 4, and it felt great because after that, it opened up the ancestral items. I felt I was getting a bit of power progression. The game was more challenging for a few levels, especially in L-Tides, as I was going in, trying to let's just try and beat a few bosses and test my build and get some ancestral upgrades, and it felt great for a bit. Now I can't move into that till I'm level 70. So that if you do manage to get to World Tier 4 before level 70, that feeling of yeah, I've got in early, I'm power progressing there is gonna gone. It's an experience that you're gonna lose. So they've stopped people doing it. You can't take your friends in if you're playing with a friend and you're going, oh yeah, I'm at World Team 4. I tell you what, let me take you through the capstone dungeon. Yeah, you might only be level 50, 55, but yeah, so what? Come and play with me. Yeah, because that's what a lot of people do. They don't just do it to boost people and send them out in the world and annoy everybody else. They do it so they can play with each other. Now they can't. The level 100 would have to drop down to World Tier 3 and play with him. So they're saying here that they've tested it themselves with a level like character trying to get into World Tier 3. So that's where obviously somebody's tried to take him through the capstone and boost him, and they couldn't do it. They definitely could before the patch, as most of you might have known if you've tried it. So they do want to say whether the reported level 50 and 70 requirements are accurate, they cannot 100% confirm. So again, you take this with a pinch of salt. ICY Veins is a pretty good, reputable site. Usually, you know, very good at reporting game news and stuff. So, uh, but I would test it yourself just to make sure. If this is something you was planning to do with your friends. Uh, they go on to say the official screen for the transition has not been changed, as you can see there. It's a bit small, but it just says recommended levels for levels 50 to 70. Yeah. So, you know, why is it happening? They go on to discuss they assume that it's aimed at boosting, which I just said myself. But you know, the whole game, they all. It's not just this game; it's all Blizzard's games. If you've ever played WoW, Hearthstone, anything, it's all about how much time they can get you to play the game, not how much you enjoy the game. Yeah, and once you get that in your head, you sort of start to see what their ethos is, and that's what this is. And there's so much, all that patch 1.1, it's all about, as somebody said on Reddit, a big post, slowing down the progress of players. It's all about slowing you down, making you do everything twice as long, and so that's what this is. It's just to hold you back. It's to get the content. They're probably scared of the season launching and everybody chewing the content up in the first few weeks. Well, it's not going to happen because of the XP. There's people still playing the Eternal Realm now that haven't hit 100. Yeah, they haven't hit 100 now when the enthusiasm was there. How do you think they're going to do with the season? Yeah, the XP needed, in my opinion, at least doubling for the season. Not nerfing like they've done it. What they needed to do was double it for the season at minimum, so that people could at least experience the end game within the season time frame. Yeah, we're gonna get to end of the season and people are still going. I only got to level 70. I only got to level 60. What does that do for anybody? It doesn't help promote the game from Blizzard's point of view, and it doesn't help the players. It just turns them away. What you want is you want all them players there at 11 level 100, running around, having running amok, smashing monsters all over the place, feeling powerful, and testing out the builds and stuff like that. Yeah, as this is, it's not going to happen. So I would, yeah, read this article and go and test it yourself, because if you play in groups and stuff, it might affect your plans. Uh, it might only impact a little bit, you know. It might, but to some it might impact a lot. But either way, it's a change that I think was pointed out. So yeah, level 50, level 70 requirements moving through world tiers 2 to 3 and 3 to 4. So yeah, take note, people. So with that, let's move on to the next. Right, so the other thing I just wanted to quickly go over is just to show you how to look at your stats after the change. A lot of people are looking at the patch notes and they're just seeing the percentages, 20%, 25% here, 40% nerf to this. So the easiest way is just go to a website such as d4builds.gg and bring up the fixes. Wowed, Max Roll, all have them on. And a lot of them haven't been updated to the new stat values yet. So if you do this, you know, fairly soon, you can still see the old values. So for this, we're just going to have a quick look at a two-handed weapon. So as you can see there, the two-handed weapon, it has a crit strike damage at 28 to 42 on its stat value, and we also have an implicit damage at 35. So we go back to our character and we find a two-handed weapon. I'm not going to use these for reference because I've upgraded them. So let's find one here. So the implicit damage, as we said, 35%. That's now 14%. So that's a big hit on us. And the critical damage range on a two-handed weapon is 21 to 35, and that was, as we looked before, was 28 to 42. So again, that's a big loss. So what I would do is go through your character, because it might affect what gears you wear. So for example, these stat sticks, I mean the 202 one-handed, I don't use them in this build. So they're there just to apply the stats. So the reason I've got swords in is because of the implicit crit damage. But as you can see, that's dropped down to 10.5 now. So it might be that uh, it's better putting, I don't know, I'd have to test it, so putting the overpower damage on, or even an axe for damage 12 for enemies, you know. So I'll need to test it. So, but I would go through your character and have a look. You might decide to re-roll stuff off. It's like the cooldown damage. I mean, they've hammered that, so you might think to yourself, well, I might as well roll that off now and put something else on to sort of offset the damage reduction loss or DPS loss that they've given me. But yeah, good luck, because it costs a fortune re-rolling anyway. Uh, that's the next thing I'm going to have to look at, is another build, because this build I've got here has been absolutely hammered. Uh, I was comfortably doing, oh, well, comfortably, I was progressing through level 60 nightmare dungeons, and now I'm struggling to do level 50s. So it's basically not only put me back, it's halted my progress, you know. And it's not that I've got a load of crap gears or a crap build, you know. Some of them are pretty good gears. They're not all min-maxed with perfect stats, but you know they were pretty decent. So I might have to look at another build now or another way of playing it. But it's definitely put me back on my nightmare dungeon progress, and that the cost alone of re-rolling doing a build is just ridiculous. So, so yeah, I hope that's a good little bit of advice for you how to sort of compare. If you're struggling to get your head around the actual percentage values, just go to one of the sites, just put in Google or something, just put Diablo 4 fixed values, and just have a look and compare them to yours in game, and yeah, see where it leaves you laying. And if it's like my barbarian, it'll probably leave you laying on the floor. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the two little bits of information I brought you. I hope you're not suffering too much with this patch. Personally, I think it's the worst patch I can ever remember in my whole-time gaming. I've seen some bad ones get put through. I've seen patches that have brought games, you know, but I don't know if this would have been better if it had broke it so it didn't play rather than the state it's in where you can still play it. I think it's an absolute disgrace and it's an absolute shit show. So yeah, let's watch this space and see what they come out with and said on Friday. But yeah, for now, I hope you enjoyed the video. Missed it, do doubt.